Welcome back to Wine Press Ministries. Thanks for stopping in. If you're new, welcome. If you enjoy the content of this video or other videos of mine, please like, subscribe, share, let others know. Still working on building this channel. Thank you for your support. I want to do a quick teaching today about this word in Genesis 1 that people within the community of Flat Earth, the new Flat Earth movement, this is one of the main things they cite from the Bible to prove that Flat Earth is true. And they claim that the Bible is a Flat Earth book. I'm here to tell you that no, it isn't. It's misunderstanding about some of these concepts. So let's quick look at this. The word is firmament, which some of you may have heard. You may have heard this argument from the Flat Earth community. So starting in verse 6 in Genesis 1, it says, "And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day." And then God starts making grass and herbs and trees. And then in verse 14, it brings up the firmament again. "And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, for days and years. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good." Now, here's where we really need to pay attention. "And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven." If we are to take the argument from flat earthers that firmament is a physical structure over the earth, and they point all this out and say, look, God did this, he divided it, right? Then what would the word mean when it says, let the fowl fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven? Clearly there's a disconnect here, because if the firmament is a solid dome, and God sets the lights in this firmament, in this dome thing, which is what flat earthers believe, then why would it tell us birds? Like, obviously birds don't fly like inside of this thing. Like, they don't fly in that. And it even says open. So it's clearly showing us. Now, if we look at what the word was to derive firmament in our language, it stems from a Hebrew word that is pronounced rakia. And some of the meaning was lost in the way they used that word. Okay? And I'll explain it to you in a second here. Then it was even further lost when we translated from Greek to English. And to make matters worse, firmament has the word firm in it, which also confuses people because they think like, oh, it's a firmament, like it has nothing to do with being firm. Now, what rakia actually was not a noun. It was a verb. Metalworkers would use this word to describe a technique that they used where they would heat up metal and then they would hammer it down and flatten it, and they would heat it up and flatten it and flatten to stretch it out and make this really, really thin piece of metal. Because they found that when they did that, then they folded tons of layers together. You could make incredibly strong swords and other things, but mainly swords. This is rakia. It's not the sheet of metal, of flattened, stretched out metal. It is the process of doing that, of stretching it out. So the original meaning of rakia was actually a verb. We get a clue because if it was talking about a solid object, obviously it wouldn't say birds fly in it. Later on, that word started being used to describe an expanse, which is what God did here, because they knew what this meant here. They knew that it was a verb, it was an action. God did this thing, right? They started using it as an adjective also to abstractly describe things that were also stretched out after the process, but in an abstract way. Every place in the Bible is actually using the word firmament in this manner, except one place. In Ezekiel, when he has a vision of the machine or whatever it was, he seems to be describing some sort of physical object, and he uses that word to describe it. And so that's the only place in the Bible where we see that someone uses that word to actually describe something that appears to be physical. Everywhere else, it's using it in this symbolic sense because it's not an object, it's a verb. Now, you might be saying, are you sure? Well, I'm not going to bring up all of them because here's the thing. Don't take my word for it. Search the scriptures and see if what I say is true. But keep in mind that rakia is the act of stretching out this metal. It's flattening it out and stretching it, making it thin. Is this what God did? Psalms 104 verse 2. Who coverest thyself with light as with a garment, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain. Job chapter 9 verse 8. Which alone spread out the heavens and treadeth upon the waves of the sea. Isaiah 45:12. I have made the earth and created man upon it. It was my hand that stretched out the heavens, and I commanded all their hosts. Yes, this is what God did. This is talking about the stretching of the heavens. And I'll add in that scientific community agrees with this. First, they called it the Big Bang. Then they realized that was really, there was a lot of issues, especially picturing it that way. Now they call it rapid inflation, where after the initial formation of the universe, things like rapidly spread out. Oh, there's evidence in science that proves this happened, that God did this, right? I hope that gave you guys a better idea of what this is actually talking about so that we don't fall into a trap of believing something that isn't giving us all the information. Now, if you listen to this and you still say, no, I think that it means the other thing, okay, fine. I think that you're mistaken. And I think I made a pretty good case in a quick video to show that it is a mistake. That's not the correct interpretation. It wasn't meant that way. And I want to say one last thing also before I close out. When God makes the firmament, he divides the waters from the waters. What is it that's actually being said here? I have an awesome teaching that is going to give you real truth and is going to set you free. So keep that in the back of your head and you will see it at some point, hopefully not too long. If you guys choose to support my ministry and helping me go full time with this, you may donate if you so choose. And if you do, I just want to let you know that my heart accepts that with the utmost gratitude. I love you guys. Talk to you again.